right. Here we are. I think we're live now.
Working for the weekend, and I want to see a show. I flip on the book of face. Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man over there into the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So around town radio show. That's where I go for the latest band info. So
there we go. I think we're right. Finally, it's working. Hi, Gina.
It's the All Around Town Radio
Show.
The All Around Town Radio.
Wow, what a challenge on a Monday. All right. It's kind of every time I do a remote on a Thursday, I come back on a Monday and something's jacked up. So we are here. We are live. A little late, but we're live at 5:30. I'll call it. Welcome, everybody. Let's see who's out there. Kara, she says, hi, Gina and Johnny. You two rocked it at Blues Fest. Yeah, I hated to have to miss that one, but man, they're always good, Kara. Gina McCann has the best voice ever. I'm just going to say that, ever. Hi, Skip from Liars for Hire. Warhammer in the house. Good to have you with us. What's going on, Kara? And Devin in the house. Devin got to spend a weekend of music down in the Berg. She did. What's going on, Johnny Fink? How are you, man? Good to see you. And yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Doug Drew in the house. It was great to see you as well. I got to see my friends from DV8. We're going to talk about them. Hi, Brian. Thanks for being here as well. If you're out there, guys, say hi. Let us know who you are, where you are. Somebody out there that's of the technical mind, please give me a sound check because I was having sound issues. That's why we were late getting on. I couldn't get anything in my ears here and couldn't get any sound at all out of this thing. So Devin said great weekend in the Berg. That's good to hear. So welcome, everybody. It's Monday, August 5th. Do you believe it's August? Yeah, August 5th. There is Tim Evans from Velvet Crush in the house. Steve says, sounds good on the tube of you. Thank you so much for checking in on YouTube, Steve. It was great to see you over the weekend as well. Bill in the house. How are you, Bill? Thanks for tagging me in those videos from yesterday. Good stuff. Pete from CFG and the family has joined us. Yes. Bob says, Johnny's the best blues guitarist in the area, and Steve from DV8, best rock player. Well, there you go. And we've got them both on the show right now. How about that, people? How about that? Yes. Hi, Bill Allred. How are you, man? So let me talk for a minute here about some things, and then we're going to get into our weekend update. If you have not yet posted to our page, we asked for that yesterday. Throw it in the comments if you saw somebody play over the weekend that you were really wowed by and want to give them a shout out. Also give the venue a little shout out if you can. That would be perfect. Quentin in the house from Ladder. Thank you for being here. Latter, if you know. Hey, I've been really lax at doing this, so let me do it here before we start everything today because I don't want to piss anybody off. So here. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities that they may represent. Thank you. That's more so for our Tuesday show. Karis and I get a little out of hand at times. If you've watched that show, you know what I mean. You do. All right, I'm getting back to the comments here. What's up, Quentin? How are you, buddy? Good to have you here. Hey, welcome to your number one source for live local music news, bands, venues, and more, and your home for everything music here at All Around Town Radio. Don't forget, throughout the week when you're watching our programming, hit that little share button on our show and help support local music and venues in the area. We'd appreciate that so much, especially our Thursday show where we feature Who's Playing Out. Yeah. And Devin said Ryan Roth as Elvis was pretty cool. Basically like the party punch of an older generation. I love it. Hey, people love Elvis. Elvis is timeless. Elvis is timeless. Yes. So huge weekend for music. Lots going on. I'm going to take you back to Wednesday for us as we get started here in just a minute. But before that, may I just say thank you to I think it was 18 people who shared our show on Thursday. Took us to 17,000 views and plays. So thank you for that on our Thursday Who's Playing Out. That's what that's all about. And when you guys do that, gets the word out as to who's playing where and what musicians are playing and what venues and such. It's really cool that you share that much, and we got that many views on it. So thank you so much for that, guys. We keep trying to plug ahead here. It is tough. Our friends at Mr. Burroughs Tavern lost their Facebook page due to someone hijacking it. So if you see a bunch of weird stuff from Mr. Burroughs that's getting posted asking questions and all that about, what smell of perfume do you like and crap like that, it's somebody that hacked into their page there, and they are trying to get you to like it so they can get into your page. So dislike that page completely, and they have a new one, Mr. Burroughs Tavern Springboro. So look that one up and follow them there, and they're back in business. But, you go from 10,000 followers on your page to 1, which is really crappy. It is. Happened to the Bell and the Bear, too, a while back, and just... it's crappy. I can tell you if that happens here, highly unlikely we'll ever start again because I'm not working that hard. I'm not working that hard. So, it seems like everybody's getting cloned or hacked or something out there. It's terrible. So don't forget to follow us on all the socials, guys, just in case something happens to the Book of Face. You'll find us on YouTube as well. Some of you are watching on YouTube right now. Bob Smith is, Steve Krakis is, and all that. And the blue check protects me somewhat from that on my private page, which I was having issues with people backdooring in Steve from the business page. However, what's really nice about it is it's a moneymaker for the Book of Face, and that gives you access to someone to talk to if something goes wrong. Not that they can fix it, but gives you access to somebody to talk to, which I found very interesting. So I don't know how long I'll keep that blue check or not. But the blue check on the business page is much harder. I have the studios in my home here that I run, and they want like tax statements and it's ridiculous. I don't want to give that kind of information to anybody. So that's just, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm sure not giving it to them who, if they get a data breach, is going to know everything about everybody anyway. Jim Kilroy, how are you? He said he saw some bands at Trillions, Shuffle, Miss Jackie, and Steve Falieros, I'm sorry. And Sunday stopped by Mr. Burroughs for Eyes Up Here. Yeah, I didn't make that one either, right in my backyard, but I've seen them there before, and it's a great show. Eyes Up Here. It really is. So let me see if I can expand this to where I can read it here today. And again, thank you for the 17,000 views on Thursday's show, guy. I appreciate it. All right, this week in music for us. Let me go back and kick back for just a minute. And Devin needs to see Miss Jackie. Yes, you do. Yeah, Steve, that gives you access to a few things and helps protect your profile. But the thing is also, when you get the blue check, you can't change anything without an act of God. So even if you want to change your profile picture, you better pick the one you want, because it takes months and weeks and years and things to do that. It's really bizarre. Very much fun. There we are. I'm talking about it and I disappear. How about that? Isn't that interesting how that works? Yes. Steve, we shouldn't talk. We should talk about this offline. We should. Because I said the Book of Face too many times, probably. But we're back now. So let's talk about Wednesday. Name That Tune at Heather's. I host that every week. Over 250 players, 35 teams we had this past week. It was awesome night. And then on Thursday we had our 80s night there. Every first Thursday I also do at Heather's, and we Mother Nature kicked our ass. Can I say that? Mother Nature was at 100-degree heat index, so we had a bunch of teams scheduled, and they started dropping like flies. The cancellation calls came in as I was setting up. I kept hearing the phone ring, thinking, "Oh, there goes another one. There goes another one," because it was hot. And then the weather forecasters were saying Armageddon was going to take place, and it was true because we had about 100 people, that diehards who stayed and played and did their thing that night for 80s night. Had a blast. If you've seen our pictures, you can see the folks who came out and played with us a little bit. But it came a storm of epic proportion in Springboro. I have worked there for darn near, 6 years now, and I've never seen a storm blow through like it did. The tent was a rocking 2 or 3 feet to either side, but it held. It did. And the wind was blowing through the tent, the rain. I had to cover speakers and computers, all kinds of funky stuff that had to happen. And those people were diehards. They stayed. I called it Monsoon 80s night. We had 2 rounds of 80s music. One round was really fun for those of you that remember the old MTV days. The MTV days where MTV launched on the actual date, August 1st, that we did 80s night on. And we played one round of 10 songs that were in the top 40 first videos played on MTV. So that was a good time. But be surprised how obscure that was back then. There were some people in there that played on that list that were really interesting. Everybody can tell you the number 1 video killed the radio star. They can tell you Pat Benatar did the number 2 song. But after that, it gets pretty wild. Like things like Passion by Rod Stewart. That was fun, and we did 2 rounds of 80s pop culture trivia, which was question answer, and we had a blast. It was a good time. So, yeah, I'm glad we're back. 10 hats on, Devin says. Hey, Joe Hildebrandt, how are you? What's going on? Hi, Auntie Elaine. My Auntie Elaine has joined us. How are you? And did I go to Rock and Green? No, I did not. I did not go to Rock and Green. There, Miss Devin. I didn't. Friday was my birthday, so I took Friday off. I didn't do it. We went to dinner because I had a 5 a.m. wake-up call and a 6 a.m. load-in the Mason for an event, which we're going to talk about. Thank you, Tim, for that. I appreciate you, man. I love that you come to our Wednesday nights. Appreciate it. And Devin was replying to Edward. Okay, there you go. All right. Sorry, I'm behind in the comments. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. All right. So let me get to it here. Thursday monsoon, had a blast though. And, it rained, it poured. We had fun. The people that were there had a blast. The energy in the room was off the hook. Really good. And then, like I said, Friday, I took the night off, went out to dinner, nice dinner at Cooper's Hawk. If you've ever been there, it's a wonderful place to go. Had dinner from a birthday. And then Saturday, I had a full day of music. Now, let me, Ed said he did not go to Rock and Green. Thank you, Ed. If you're out there, guys, and you saw somebody play over the weekend, though, and you didn't get it on our page, please drop it in the comments. I want to talk about Saturday. Started off with an event that's very near and dear to my heart. Every year we do this event. We're going to do 2 of them next year, one in Dayton, one in Cincinnati. This takes place at Crossroads Church in Mason. If anybody knows where that is, it's a ginormous building. The church is an old factory. It's massive. And the parking lot is absolutely huge. Well, the parking lot is set up as a road course for basically a racetrack. And we had 101 kids that are basically disabled children and their families there, along with a lot of volunteers. The volunteers are what make this thing go. Everything from comfort care people taking care of the kids to pit crew members to the drivers. The drivers are all decked out in jumpsuits. There's a red carpet that the kids come down, the members as they're known, that are the disabled children. They come down the red carpet with their families. There's photos taken. There's people cheering for them. And then they get to take a ride. They get 3 laps in a car that most of us here would envy being in. I mean, talking about McLarens, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Lotus, Porsches. There was all these cars, and these drivers donate their cars and their time to let these kids have a little bit of time in their life that is enjoyable, and the parents get a little breather. And man, is it fun. Joyride Cars is an excellent organization. They have a social media page, Joyride Cars. They also have joyridecars.com, and there's an app for that as well. If you want to volunteer, the Joyride app, and you can volunteer and come help. So if you have experience, especially with anybody, disabled children or any of that, they would love to have your help. Over 100 volunteers there to take care of all this that day. And I provide the voice of the event and all that. And I provide some sound reinforcement along with my friend Jason Leopold. And we made it happen, man. We had some fun. It's all choreographed, all timed. The introduction of the cars is just like a big giant NASCAR race. I mean, it's crazy. So that was our morning. It started off early at 5 a.m. Like I said, we had 6 a.m. load in, and then the event kicks off about 9 in the morning, and it went till noon. It went a little less than we thought it was going to go to 1 o'clock. Went till noon, so we got a chance to get a little breather. It got hot. The rain stayed away, which was great because you can't run those cars quick and fast like they do if the pavement's wet. They get a little squirrely. They do. But man, what fun. And let me tell you, the smiles on the faces of the children are what makes it for all of us. Everyone there, they sell merchandise. It's crazy, and everything supports this. It all comes in these big giant trailers. There's, it's a big production, video walls, smoke for the cars to run through. I can just go on and on and on and talk about it, but it's cool. If any of you have ever seen it, make a comment out there. I'd love to hear from you. But Joyride done at Crossroads Church next year. 2 events, hopefully, one in Dayton, one in Cincinnati, will be happening, and just an excellent time. And I have to give one shout out. A young lady comes every year. Her name is Ella. She has Down syndrome. Ella, let me tell you, she loves Taylor Swift. And when I play Taylor Swift for her, she dances and puts on just quite a great show. This year, I handed her it was a fake microphone, but she had this microphone that looks real. She not only danced, but she put on a performance of this Taylor Swift song. And she was just absolutely adorable, and just love her to death. And all the other kids who come up and say hi each year now that we've gotten to know them and all that. And they get to ride in these cars. And when you see them come around the turn where we're located and the music's blaring and they're out the window of the car cheering, the kids are, and smiling, it's just so rewarding. So Joyride Cars was our morning on Saturday. And I want to thank Blair Cornell for just absolutely coming up with this idea, because he has a son who is disabled, and he found that his son took great pleasure in riding in cars like that and riding in his car, which he has a McLaren. And so he put this together. Westside Pediatric Dentistry, a big sponsor of it. Crossroads Church, greatest host in the world. And just a good time. So that's where that's at. Is anybody out there? Are we still on? Steve Stein is out there. How are you, Steve? Good to see you. And yes, glad to see you. If you're out there, say hello today, please. Say hello. So that was our morning. Then the evening time rolled in, and we had a chance to hit the Bacon Fest. It's at the Lincoln Park, which surrounds the Phrase Pavilion in Kettering, which is a concert venue. Hi, Rick Hansen. Thank you for being here. Devin's still here. All right, thank you. Just making sure we're still mass communicating, as they say. So we got a chance to go out and check out our friends who made it a trek north, and it's not often. I usually have to go way south to hear this band, and I love this band, probably one of my favorite bands of all time, and it's DV8. And we got a chance to hear DV8, and if you want to call it Deviate, you can, but it's DV8, the letters D, V, and then an 8. And I will tell you that they put on a hell of a show on the grounds of the Phrase. Great night, beautiful weather, Bacon Fest in full effect. It's everything bacon. A friend of ours grabbed a ice cream sundae that was topped with caramel and bacon bits. Real bacon. I mean, not those fake things that come in a plastic jar. No, but real bacon. Everything there was all bacon. All the dishes, they gave awards away for the best dishes and this and that. What a fun time. DV8 was on fire, as they always are. And when they go to a new area like that, and they came north into Steve's territory because Steve's from up here, and they got a chance to win a lot more fans over, because people that were there, I kept hearing people talk, they'd never seen them before, and they were like, wow, this band is great. Could have told you that. Yeah, they are fantastic. And Glenn is on here. He said DV8 was great Friday at the casino. Thank you. Don says they're all pros. Bob says DV8, great band. Yes, they are. And I will say, if you know the band, each one of the members of DV8 in their own right are absolutely wonderful people. They are humble. They interact with their audience so well. They get out on the break and they work the crowd like champs. They don't stand in the back hiding behind the stage or any of that. They're fantastic. They've added a bunch of new music now. DV8 recently went through the loss of a few of their members a while back, and the new lineup in the band is just stellar. Not knocking anybody that was in it before. Let me tell you, I loved the band before. Love the band now as well. Aaron Thomas is now fronting that band with Melissa Singer-Reed, and both of them singing their butts off on every song that they do. And then Steve Krakus, an addition to the band there now as a guitarist, who's one of the baddest mofos I know in playing guitar. He is so good. He makes everything look effortless, and it's not. We were talking backstage, and I'll mention that, but we were talking backstage about his guitar solos on a couple of those songs that are just, they give you chills. They do. They're so good. And Steve's another one of those guys that is just humble. I mean, he interacts with the crowd well. And I love Steve from back in the Mad Hatter days. And, he's made a good land here with DV8. It's a good fit for him and the band, I would say. And there's Steve now. So it was awesome to play his hometown. Yeah, Steve, it was. And it was cool that you did that. I'm glad you guys came all the way up here for that. Interesting crowd, though, and I will say the crowd at Bacon Fest was less than I had seen in years past. It's a weird time right now. A lot of people tell me the crowds at a few of these festivals have been off, and I don't know if it's the heat, the economy, who knows what it is. I'm not here to judge, but the crowd was not as big as I had anticipated. We got there and got a parking place, got right in, which was good. And there's Brian. And Brian's saying, great to see you Saturday, Steve. Whoever Steve is. He's talking to somebody. Gina McCann says all around good people they are. So DV8, let's talk about the band real quick for a minute. And then, like I said, they've added some new material. Aaron Thomas doing vocals, Melissa Singer-Reed vocals. She's always been that. She's one of my favorites. She sent me the cutest birthday message in the world. I love her to death. And Melissa is a wonderful singer. And if you haven't seen the other project she's involved with called Dreamboat Annie, a tribute to Heart, do it. She and Ann Coleman blow the roof off the place with that one as well. But anytime you go see DV8, it's a party. And Mike Tekulve on guitar, Doug Drew, one of the best drummers I know, solid drummer and nicest guy in the world. He's just back there keeping perfect time and doing the things that need to happen. Dave MF and Wade, as we like to say, on the bass. Another one of those people that enjoys his music and enjoys playing music so much. And then the music professor, Jim Cuesta, on the keyboards. He's a genius. He is. So you put together that whole band, throw it in a blender, and out comes the best music you'll ever hear and the best 2 hours of music there that I'd heard ever at the old Bacon Fest or any of those festivals at the Phrase. Amy Zahora does a nice job putting that together. And, it's tough sometimes when you're a band and you come into those environments because you're at mercy of the sound they've provided for the event. Thankfully, DV8 had their front of house guy running sound. And sometimes they underestimate the sound too at some of those events that we've been to. So this one sounded great where we were. It sounded really good. Had a good time, and just good stuff. Mike, thank you for being here, man. Always a pleasure to see you. I always wish at those events we had more time to talk, but they're busy, and it's just that little break time they get in between a set. And they got out there and just slayed it, and had to get it in before dark because there was no lights on the stage either. I found that interesting. A little tough to take pictures. My pictures suck. Ed Sawicki, I needed you there, man. I got to say that. My pictures were terrible because of the lighting and the distance I was away and all that, iPhone stuff. But hats off to Deviate. Thank you guys so much. I'm not going to mention a ton of the music they did. You guys know the songs they do, but they've added some good stuff. Still the old standards are in there. And I've got to give a shout out to their production crew. Always Brian and Lee, just stellar group of people. And yeah. Ed says, call me next time. Yeah, Ed, you were busy all weekend, my friend. You work harder than any man in show business. You do. We live through your pictures, Ed Sawicki. We actually love your pictures. But the lighting was tough with no stage lighting and all that. And as it starts to get a little dusky, you have those problems. And there's Bill's lineup. Bill is one of the best music followers out there as well. Look at that lineup he did. He spent the whole weekend at the Bell and the Bear, it looks like. The Jam, CFG and the Family, Doug Hart, and the Sunday benefit for Cat Campbell, and the Gina and Johnny Band at the Lebanon Blues Fest. Look at that. Bill, you're amazing. Yes, and Ed says yesterday was exhausting. And Steve says, thank you for the other names there because I was avoiding those, Steve, because I didn't remember them. I knew Andy, yes, but Brian Lee, Andy, and Nick, production, man, what a great group. And they roll in. They know what they're doing. They do. And each member of the band sets their stuff up. It's just a seamless thing with Deviate. So cool. All right, I got to move on, and I've got to jump to our final stop. And hi, Billy. Thanks for being here. I haven't seen you in a while, a few weeks at least. Hopefully you're doing all right. The third stop on the Saturday tour for All Around Town Radio was to bounce after Deviate down to Heather's in Springboro and see our friends from the Hall Pass Band. And let me tell you, no relation, Hall Pass Band. We call this show the Backstage Hall Pass. So, yeah, they can use that name anytime they want. We don't own it. But the Hall Pass Rock Band, let me tell you, first and foremost, they brought the crowd to Heather's. They promote as good or better than any band in the whole area. And I love that about them. They know how to work the social medias and how to get the band pumped up and how to get people to their shows. And there's some bands have been playing for years out there that could watch these guys and take advice from them because they brought a huge crowd to Heather's on the patio that night because of their promotion. Now, Heather does an excellent job as well of promoting. But the Hall Pass Rock Band is made up of my brother from another mother, Doug Hall, on bass and vocals, Tim Bolden on lead vocals, Rick Hansen on guitar, Ken Morrow on keyboard, and Wes Jones on drums and vocals. Now, let me give you an idea of what they played, first of all. Besides being just a party band, having people up and engaging the crowd and doing all that in between songs, I mean, things like Runaway Train, Good, Everybody Talks, Mr. Brightside, Own Worst Enemy, The Middle, Flagpole Sitta, and Shine. That was in the first set. And then, gosh, the second set, it was even better. Just Kryptonite was in there. Hey, Jealousy. So you get the idea of what they're in. Breaking the Chains. I'm trying to see the prompter here. Hang on. I got to look at my old eyes. Yes. Dirty White Boy, Turbo Lover in that set list. They had to cut it a little short because of the 11 o'clock curfew. Don't Change was in there. Dancing with Myself. Iran. Flock of Seagulls. They had a great set list, man. I enjoyed it so much. And these guys were a party. They were. And they had the dance floor humping, and that's what sells drinks in a club, man. When people are up dancing and doing that, it's a good night for all. And the Hall Pass Rock Band. Follow them on Facebook. I think I looked today. They have 330 followers. Well, I think they were all there at Heather's because they brought the crowd. So if you guys would give them a follow, they would appreciate that. Hey, there's Bobby Sherman from Missing November. How are you, buddy? Good to have you with us. And Steve made a comment and said, Nick is Andy's brother, new to the crew. Great. And yeah, and Rick, I want to talk about that too. Rick, your guitar solos were amazing. And some of those songs, I mean, this is high energy music all night long. I mean, they're working hard. The vocals are great. I've always loved Doug in the bands he's been in. I knew Tim from, gosh, years back in this little bar in Centerville that we used to frequent once in a while. And Tim hadn't been singing professionally or any of that for 30 some years. Doug and Tim were playing back in a club I used to manage called the Roller World Bus Stop years ago. And it was kind of fun because we had a metal battle of the bands, and they were in high school then, and how I met them. And I let them use flash pots. This was before Great White did bad things with flash pots. We had a big room, so we used actual flash pots with flash powder in them and all that. They got a chance to do that, and they thought they were Motley Crue. They thought they were going to get a bus and go on world tour, man. But no, these guys are fantastic. What a great band they've put together. What marketing, their branding, everything. The only suggestion I had, and I gave it to Doug, was you need some front lighting. It was hard to see you guys, hard to get photos of you guys. The lighting was all behind them and doing a lot of sweeping and doing all that stuff, but they need some front lighting to wash the band so we can see who they are. And they're working on that. Doug said they're doing some things now to try to put that together. So that's how that worked. That's our weekend in review, guys. I hope you had a great weekend of live local music. If you didn't put it on our page, please go to that post and acknowledge the bands that you loved over the weekend and the venues that brought them to you, because that's what it's all about. It is. All right. It's about time for me to head on down the road and get on out of here on a Monday night. Tomorrow, Hot Topic Tuesday at 5:00. And we had a band scheduling mishap on Wednesday at noon with the band. So if there's anybody out there that wants to jump on and talk music on Wednesday for about a half hour at noon, somebody send me a message. Doesn't even have to be your whole band or anybody. We can just talk about something. So send me a message. We'll see if we can lay that out on Wednesday around noon with Wednesday with the band. Bill, thank you so much. Bill, I love what you do with video, man. I can't say enough about it. Excellent stuff. Rick, thank you so much. And thanks for inviting us. And finally, I got a chance to see you guys play. And you put together a good product. For being together only a year, you guys are killing it. You are. And Steve Krakus, thank you so much. I love DV8, and I love that you're a member of DV8 now and all that. I will catch you very soon, I'm sure, at another one of your shows. And I am planning on heading to that Dreamboat Annie show, too, at Memorial Hall in October. That's going to be a good one. It is. That'll be one for the record books as well. Jim Kilroy, thank you so much for that. We got a lot more going on this week, too, guys. On Thursday, Who's Playing Out, brought to you by our friends at Heather's on the Patio. And if you want to get your band featured on that list, all you have to do is join one of our groups. We can get you signed up into one of our messenger groups, or you can just send it to us if it's just random once in a while, and we'll get it on the list, as it's called. Until then, get out and support some live local music this week, guys, and the bands and venues that bring it to you. For now, I'm Scott Hall, your host. We'll see you next time here at All Around Town Radio.
Working for the weekend, and I wanna see a show. I flip on the book of face. Yeah, I know where to go. the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So all around town radio show, that's where I go for the latest band info. So all around town radio show, for the music that comforts my soul. It's the All Around Town Radio Show. The All Around Town Radio. It's the Weekend Review. Top 5 are coming for you.